Okay, I'm inside of a cave. Gonna try to get a video. Last time I was here, this camera rig malfunctioned. I think the battery actually died, I'm not sure. Anyway, the battery's fully charged now. Let's see if I have better luck. Anyway, this cave is very fragile and pretty, so I'm gonna go really slow. You can always play the video fast forward if you think I'm going too slow. So look at the floor ahead. Notice it's mostly flat, but there's a huge crack in it, and there's breakdown rocks. Now this cave, the ceiling's less than 6 feet wide, so I have to watch my head, but it's dozens of feet wide. So I'm going to have to go wandering around. So I'm going to stay to the right and go counterclockwise. I'll have to zigzag a little bit to make sure I get everything. It's a pretty enough cave. I want to get stuff from multiple angles. Like, look at this stuff down here. Ooh, interesting, huh? I'm shooting at f/5.0, by the way. Look at the wall here, how it's kind of flat towards the dot, but rougher at the bottom. But then look at all the dripstone formations on both the floor and the wall. Kind of cool, huh? So I'm going to shoot at f/5.0. So it's at ISO 1600 right now. I got the battery, the light battery, at only 30%, so it doesn't get too hot. Make sure it lasts. But I'm going to step over here very carefully. The floor here, look at this. The crack in the floor goes down at least. Whoops, a bat just flew past me. Okay, I'm going to have to avoid disturbing the bat. But he just flew away, so I'm good. Anyway, so you see the small formations on the floor there. Anyway, more small formations. But even on the ceiling. So remember, the bare rock is gray. But there's that brown stuff. That's where it didn't break down. Over here, look how it's totally different texture where it did break down. Notice the pile of rocks showing the way out. Don't get lost in here. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to have to be quiet and make sure that I don't disturb the bat. The bat flew pretty far away. So anyway, I'm sure he'll figure out how to avoid me if he needs to. Anyway, it's summer, so it's not like the bat's trying to hibernate or anything. All right, so how do you like those formations on the floor? So even the floor, I gotta watch where I'm going. And then again, look at all this stuff over here by the wall. In this cave, the best formations are along the wall. So I'm gonna mostly stay towards the middle, but I am gonna get close enough to the wall to see the formations. So look over there. It looks like there's a formation, an actual column. Kind of cool, huh? Alrighty then. Okay, so I'm going to very carefully stand up. I'm going to show across the floor here how this is the way I'm going to come back. Look at all the formations on the floor. So when I get back here to that part of the cave, I'll have to be very, very careful. Even on the ceiling. Look at this. Look at all the cool stuff on the ceiling. Very pretty. Okay, so even right here in the middle, there's some formations on the floor. So as I walk around, I'm obviously going to have to be very careful. And then there's breakdown rock here. But even over on the other side of the breakdown rock, there are formations. So I'm going to have to be super careful. But I'm going to turn around now. I'm standing up. The ceiling's about 6.5 feet tall. Including my boots and my helmet, I'm a little over 6 feet tall. But yeah, notice all over the floor here. Lots of neat little formations. By lava tube standards, this is about as good as it gets. I've only seen like 4 caves that are better than this one. Lava tubes that are better than this one. But luckily all my batteries are fully charged, so I should be able to get a good video of this cave. See, but even right here, one thing that's interesting, like even right here next to the crack, there's a nice little formation. So it definitely tells me that the formations happened first and then the cave cracked. Notice there's a formation here that's damaged on top. I couldn't tell you if a person did that or if that's natural. I seriously don't know. I know I didn't do it, but I'm not the first one here. So I'm going to squat down here very gently and carefully if possible. But look at this. The inside of that one rock at the top is gray on top and then brown in the middle. And then the crack is something else. So it's kind of like 3 different types of rock, or it formed at 3 different temperatures. Something like that. But notice again, this one here, there's a formation. Most of it's on the left side of the crack. Part of that formation is on the right side of the crack, which definitely tells me that the formation formed first and then it cracked when it was already solid. Interesting. Not that it matters, just a curiosity. Try to be gentle with the cave. There's a lot of rock on the floor. It's not really formation, but it's hollow, so it's still kind of fragile. So I'm trying to be gentle about where I step. Obviously, I have to step somewhere. How do you like that? Hanging down from the ceiling. Can I get an ooh-ah? But where it broke down, look how smooth it is. I mean, it's a little rough. There's texture. It's not granite, but you know what I mean. It's not. It's different. Okay, there's that other formation I was telling you about. A few other small formations on the floor. Notice the dark brown spot. That's from water bringing stuff in. Here's a nice little cluster of small formations. Ooh, And then, yeah, that's about it actually. And then, since I'm sitting down, I can pan up. Look at this formation's a little closer. I need to be careful I don't accidentally touch it. If I touch it, I could probably break it down. That would be horrible. So I'm trying to be gentle with the cave. All right, so I'm going to go forward here. Notice it's all breakdown rock here. So the floor is smooth, the ceiling is smooth. Right at the edge though, look at this. Look at these small formations on the ceiling, on the part that didn't break down. And the part that did break down, notice there's white colored stuff, that's minerals. There's darker stuff, I'm not sure what that is. All sorts of weird colors and shapes in here. Let me turn back so you can see the formations again. Now my camera's at ISO 2000. It's a full frame sensor, so it has pretty good low light performance. Alright, here we go. I'm on breakdown rock, but I still gotta watch out for formations. See, look at this up on the floor. There's formations all over the floor on the right side. So I need to be careful not to trip or otherwise touch anything. Oops. See, I'm just far enough up. When I step down, I have to be careful not to trip and fall. It'd be kind of hard to get out of this cave if I injure myself. So look at the floor all over here. Multiple formations, some of which are almost a foot tall. There's a couple over there that look like they're more than a foot tall. Wow. And then up here, look at the wall. All sorts of cool shapes. The ceiling. Where I'm down here, the ceiling is only like 4 feet tall. But to my left, I can stand up. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go to the left, stand up briefly, so I can look around. See if I can get a close-up of this formation without risking it, because I want to show you how. See, at the top, it's dry and gray. And then the wet bottom, it's damper. There's that brown stuff in addition to the gray rock. And then over here to the left, they're a little whiter at the base. In fact, technically that one on the left is taller. Yeah. I didn't bring a ruler. I got enough stuff to carry. You know, I got my car keys and I got, I think 7 or 8 flashlight batteries. Then I got like half a dozen or more camera batteries. If I'm going to go to the trouble to get in this cave, I might as well do it. Okay, so now I want to pan up a bit, just so you can see how the wall is interesting. Cool. All right, so I'm going to go over here to the right, my right a bit, just so I am away from the ceiling. You can see the color. Man, this is a pretty cave. Final answer. All right. So there's a breakdown pile here. I'll go ahead and go up here. If I remember right, there's something up here worth looking at. Oh, yeah. See, if you look at these rocks here, look how there's white stuff on them. That's not the lava rock. That's minerals being brought in by water. Let's see if I can get this on camera. Just because I can see it doesn't mean the camera can. Not to brag, but my eyeballs are awesome. Better than the camera. At least with today's technology. The way we're going, though, probably by my lifetime, you know, every camera will be hyperspectral, HDR. Anyway, here we go. Wow. So I'm trying to hold still, but I'm holding with one hand because I have to kind of brace myself with my left hand. But yeah, look at the shape over there. I don't know if I can get much closer. It'd be harder to get my camera in focus. But I do see a little protrusion, a tiny white stalactite. I just need to stand up here. There. You should be able to see that pretty well. Wow. Definitely a pretty little cave. Okay, so as you can see, it's just breakdown rock ahead. Let's see how I'm doing for time. Okay, I'm only been in here 11 minutes. So, but even up here, where it's not really formation, but it's still colorful. Very pretty. All right, let's see if I can go up here a bit. Go to the top of this rock pile. See if there's anything interesting. Yeah, so the ceiling is getting lower. As you can see, the cave's pretty much blocked by rock pile. So, I'm going to go over here to the left side, work my way back. Ugh. If I can. Here's a good view showing you exactly how big the cave is. Like I said, even the middle is only like 8 feet tall, but it's like 30 feet wide or more. Good place to have a small group of cavers. Intermediate level cavers come in here, look around. Very, very, very carefully. So look at the wall here, down below me. There's a lot of pretty stuff on the wall. Ooh, okay, so I'm sure there's good stuff over here to the right. Okay, I'm gonna look over here to the right, but then for safety reasons, I gotta go around to the left. So let me go down here real quick first. Hopefully my camera will get this in focus. Yeah, look at the wall here. You couldn't tell from out there, but there's like a small column there, a couple of weird curly stalagmites. Here's one that's kind of shaped like an hourglass. That's kind of pretty. Couple other small columns down there. Let's see if I can get over here. I'm sitting down so that I can't really fall over. Like I said, I don't want to risk tripping and damaging the cave. Or worse, my camera. So let me scoot over here to the right so I can shoot over the top of this rock. Look at that. There's a couple small formations down in there. Protected from people walking on them just by being hidden back against the wall. But I'm not going to climb over this big rock. I'm going to go around the long way. Come back. Keep myself and the cave safe. Yeah, I'll go ahead and hold the way back here to the middle. Be a lot safer for me in the cave. There's that one spot with all the colorful rock mineral deposits on the lava. Notice like none of this is gray. Oops, oh, what did I do? I accidentally moved the autofocus thingy. This camera is touchscreen. I hate touchscreen. Everything is touchscreen now. It's like unavoidable. It's just like buying a car without a screen. It's like, come on, man. It's not a computer. It's a car. All right. Notice there's that one that's crooked, diagonal. Interesting. There's a bunch hanging from the ceiling here. I'm on top of a rock, so I'm still kind of looking down. As long as I'm up here, I'll look around. Okay. So I'm going to climb down here real quick. Luckily, there's not much on the floor, just right down. So I can step pretty much wherever it's convenient for me. So back here on the floor, it's a few good ones. It's like one back there I can't really reach very well. I like this one hanging though. Kind of neat. A lot of this stuff, the harder you look, the more you see. You spend all day looking at one formation. But yeah, I do need to get out here eventually, you know. I didn't move in permanently. All right, so look at the wall here. Again, you can tell part of it's smooth. Some of it has formations. And then over here on the floor, look at that. There's another big one hidden, surrounded by the big rocks. I'm going to try to show you both. Let me get over here. Oh, what the heck. Okay, here we go. Oh, I want the autofocus. Okay. See, it's not flat. So the autofocus is not really getting everything in focus. That's impossible. Unless I use a smaller aperture. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe I should have shot at like f/16 or something. Okay, and there's that big formation over there on the floor. I should be able to get a little closer to it without causing too much damage. Cool. But notice how a complicated shape it is. In solution caves, like limestone caves, the formations are usually a lot smoother. Alright, I'm sitting down now so I can rest. Show you the beautiful rock. That's one thing about going through lava tubes. Sometimes they're really sharp rocks. I actually got my hand cut once already today. Unfortunately, I only have one Band-Aid with me, so I used my last Band-Aid. Whoops. All right. Go up here. See if I can turn around. Nice. And then on the wall, ceiling, like I said, when it's arch shaped, there isn't really a fine boundary between the wall and the ceiling. It's really the same thing. You could even argue that this place doesn't technically have a wall at all. It's all the ceiling. But whatever. Semantics aside, the rock is not the floor. Now I need to step very carefully. So it's funny, there's two nice flat rocks. In between, there's some formations. So I'm going to try to avoid stepping in there. But before I go any farther, look how this rock is mostly flat. It's got a few small formations hanging down. And then it's got a little bit of minerals over there. I'm not going to go over there. I'm just going to go to the left and show you the formations on the ceiling. Very carefully. I already showed you this before from a different angle. See how there's browns and whites on the ceiling here. And then look at this. There's like a little cluster on the ceiling. Lots and lots of tiny stalactites. Really small. I mean round ones. See, that's one thing. If you look at a solution cave, the stalactites are usually really sharp, almost pointy. In a lava tube, the dripstones aren't nearly that sharp. See, they're shaped like straws. They're not technically soda straws. I don't know if they're straws at all. Some might be hollow, some might not. Notice the blistering shape of the rock around it. Huh. But then other than that, it's smooth. It's funny. It's like the cave's both rough and smooth. It's like, it's hard to explain. Good thing I got on video. All right. See, I gotta be careful here. Like even this breakdown rock, look at that. This breakdown rock, it came from the ceiling, but some of the formations survived. So now there's some little tiny formations on the floor. Well, breakdown floor. So I need to be super careful with that. But I'm gonna go around it after I look around here to the right. Notice ahead here, there's a lot of small formations. There's an open way I could probably get through here, but the thing is the ceiling is not that tall. It's got stuff all over it. So I wouldn't want to touch the ceiling on accident. So I'm going to go farther to the left. There's more formations to the left anyway. But yeah, look at the floor here. Like even right where I am. Like I said, if you ever find a cave like this, go really, really, really slow and really, really careful. Oops, hear that? I want to touch the ceiling. Luckily I was at a smooth spot, so I didn't cause any damage. But I'm going to go to the left here where I can stand up so I don't have to risk doing anything bad. But yeah, even here on the floor, I think I already showed you that. Some nice little formations right here on the floor. And then all over there towards the wall. And then even more over here. Lots of small ones. Even though they're not as cool, it's still better to leave them alone and don't cause any damage. So I'm going to show you to the left here just a bit. Notice there's one lying down. I don't know if that was a person or how that happened. Wasn't me. Anyway, the ceiling here. Look at the cool shapes on the ceiling. And color. All the above. See, I can't really go any farther forward without risk damaging the cave. So I'm going to go back over here to the left where the ceiling is taller. And there's a place for me to sit down. So I'm nowhere near the ceiling. Then I can show you again where I am. Nice. Not quite the autofocus I wanted, but it's close. Like I said, there's such a... It's 3D here, so can't get everything in focus unless I were to shoot it like f/16. My light's not that bright. I'm trying to save some battery life for later. If I have the light 100%, it'll just overheat anyway. Wouldn't want to risk a electrical fire or something crazy like that in here. That'd be way too much fun. Alright, as you can see, you could go around behind that rock pile, but pretty sure that's a dead end, so I'm not going to bother with anything that difficult. Alright, so let me sit up here to the right a bit so I don't accidentally bump the ceiling. Oh yeah, before I get up, so look at the color of the floor though. I kept telling you how the bare lava is gray, but look at that brown rock. I think that actually is like brown rock, not just brown stuff on the rock, you know what I'm saying? So, really interesting little cave. Alright, well, that's the way out. So, it's difficult, so I'm going to pause the video and see you on the other side.